This is the last time I'm going to be making a concept map with you. In the future, you'll be doing these on your own. How I go about doing them. So a concept map is to help pull in all the key ideas from the unit. I go through each learning objective and I decide what is that topic and what makes it important and what do I need to know in relationship to the main topic. So let's start with what are cells. I like to use a different shape. So here I'm going to use an oval just to show that it's a subtopic of the main topic. So what are cells? They are the smallest unit of life. They were discovered by Hooke and Leeuwenhoek. And their work led to the cell theory. A really detailed concept map, so if you were doing this for a grade, would describe the parts of the cell theory. So why don't we do that? The first part is that all life is made out of one or more cells. That cells must come from a pre-existing cell. So cells arise from other cells. And finally, the cell is the basic unit of life. Next, we can describe cells in various ways. So cells, describe. And we can describe them as one cell or many cells, so unicellular or multicellular. We can describe them as plant or animal. And we can also describe cells as eukaryotes or prokaryotes. Remember that prokaryotes are only bacteria. Eukaryotes are going to be everything else. We can look at cells in terms of cell size. And in terms of cell size, it's limited by surface area to volume ratios. This means surface area to volume. You could write it out for yourself if you're going to forget what that means. And I'm just going to describe for myself what surface area to volume ratios have an effect on cells, how they affect them. A big cell equals a very low ratio, which is bad. Because the smaller the ratio, the harder it is to get things in and out. You could also say it the opposite way, that a small cell has a high ratio, which is a good thing. Over here we can overcome this by two things. Differentiation, which is where we have a stem cell that gets programmed. And the other one was divisions of labor. That cells within a system divide up jobs. Oops. And that's what makes them more efficient. So in this case, we have a stem cell. Remember, all things come from stem cells. The cells can be turned on and off, the genes, in order to make them a bone cell, a brain cell, etc. So we can get a large organism because we can make them multicellular through differentiation. Therefore, we don't need to try and make big cells, because if we did, we'd have problems trying to survive. We can also have multicellular organisms because the cells divide up jobs. You have, in your heart, you have certain types of cells that are doing one thing and then other ones that are doing others to make your heart beat efficiently. The last category here that I'm going to branch off of is what cells are made of. And they're made of organelles. I'm not going to go through and list every single organelle, but you should branch off at least a couple here. So vacuoles, you have the nucleus, you have mitochondria, you have the rough ER and the smooth ER, etc. So I'm just going to put ETC for etc. That we have a variety of organelles that make up cells. So here you can see that we've summarized everything we've talked about in this unit so far. In the future, your job is to make one of these yourself. So make sure you understand how to do this, because when the next unit comes around, this is what you'll be doing for me, and I need to be able to understand what's going on and see all these connections that you're making. The next step is to complete the cell project. So there's a sheet in the crate that goes along with the video that I have that explains the project. You might want to grab that and then watch the video and see what you're doing, because that replaces the test for this unit. As long as you have this concept map done, your notes are essentially done, and you could hand those in anytime once they are totally complete between now and when your project is due.